have our next speaker joining us, Mr. Lukasz Zelezny. He is the head of organic acquisition at a UK-based price comparison website with offices in London. Leading his team, he is responsible for the uswitch.com brand's organic visibility, conversion rate, traffic, and engagement. He is a hands-on, he is also spent a lot of time keeping up to date with the changes in the technology of online marketing. He is a graduate of Zelezny University of Technology with a BA in marketing. Every year he is actively participating in 10 to 20 events as an SEO, social media keynote speaker. Additionally, he organizes workshops where he is sharing tips around SEO, social media, and analytics.
My name is Lukasz Zelezny. I am working in online marketing for last 15 years or more, predominantly in SEO, also in social media, and I prepared a 30 minutes presentation for today where I'm going to talk about a couple of tactics that are easy to implement and that can be used by anyone to increase the traffic from organic search. So let's not waste any more time and let's go. So, first of all, let me try to build a story. Imagine that in 2012 I was joining a company called Uswitch, and this is how I was able to deliver quickly results. How I was able to say, some people are saying that there is lots of time you need to spend before you have the results in SEO, but I will bring you results relatively quickly. So first of all, I use the software called Searchmetrics, and Searchmetrics is pretty much right now industry standard. In 2012, it was still a very popular tool, maybe not as much as right now, but yeah. So what I did, or what I would do if I would join again Uswitch, and for people who don't know, Uswitch, it's a price comparison website operating in UK. We're comparing prices of energy, credit cards, insurance, broadband, mobiles, and so on. So I'm starting my I have a request to. I hope right now everyone can hear me properly. So think about this. On this slides, this is the screenshots from Searchmetrics, and I said like, hey Searchmetrics, show me all the keywords that Uswitch is ranking on. It will be local UK. And I have a bunch of random keywords, and this list is not the greatest because there is lots of keywords that already rank first. There are some third-party brands, so the companies that works with Uswitch, for example. Also, their names rank and trigger URLs from Uswitch. Probably, like you can see here, GiveGraph or Tiscali, that will not be the best keywords. No matter there is like lots of search volume, but again, like you want to focus on generic keywords. So I am using the filter which is built in, and you can see here you have positions, you have search volume, and I can narrow this list to say, hey, show me the same list, but right now only keywords from position 2 to 10 and search volume 1,000 to 20,000. And this is how it looks. Right now it looks completely different. So we have keywords from position 2 to 10, and you can see that the search volume is between 1,000 and 20,000, and this is generally where the generic keywords sweet spot exists. So you will be able to exclude all the brand names of other companies which we will not be using as a keywords to perform SEO. And you can see that was some while ago, this screenshot been taken, so we have lots of keywords like iPhone 5s Gold, iPhone 4 deals, and so on, so best SIM only deals, loan but credit, and so on, energy comparison. Another very important thing to say, it is that on this list you have so many different pairs, so keywords, each keyword triggers different URL. That's very important, because when you're talking about keywords, you need to talk about URLs as well. So always thinking about keywords, you remember what is the URL that is targeted. And that's pretty much where you can start thinking about this. This is the click-to-rate distribution model. And now, before you start utilizing the list I show you, this is worth to remind. This is a simplified model of click-to-rate distribution. And obviously some of you may challenge me and say like, oh, don't tell me that when I'm on position 1, then I will have 18% click-to-rate, because I could see that I had 20. It's not about really to think that this is the value. It's about to understand what is the difference between being on position 1st or 2nd and on position 8, 9, or 10. So you can see that it's going like very, very stripe on position 1 to 3. And then, so it's a big difference to be 1st or 2nd, because it's almost, the click rate is going up by double. And it's almost no difference between position 7 and 10. And when we know this, we can do some kind of math. And we can take a keyword which is best SIM only deals here in this example, and there is 8,841 searches. And think about this. If you will take this click-through rate and multiply by this search volume, is 1,893 visits. If you will take the click-through rate from first position, then there is 3,294 visits. And you can simply calculate that there is 1,400 visits more, and that, and again, doesn't matter if you will get 1,400 visits more or 1,200, it's only to understand the model behind. So we're talking about almost double traffic if you are first or if you are second. And based on this, I'm preparing a spreadsheet with VLOOKUP in Excel when I'm using following metrics. TI, which is a traffic index, which is search volume multiplied by CTR, and then we have TI max. This is search volume multiplied by CTR on position 1. So TI max is this kind of the best scenario when we would be on the top of the search engine results page. And TI diff is this difference between where we are now and where we would be. So the TI diff is the difference between now and in search engine utopia. So now and versus the best scenario possible. And this is how the spreadsheet look like. Right now it's sorted by search volume. You can see these three metrics I mentioned, TI, TI max, TI diff, in three last columns. I am using conditional formatting, I love colors. So that helps me to understand better what's going on. And obviously I can sort this by TI diff, and I can see that it's not exactly the same. Actually, in this example, you don't see that well the difference between search volume and TI diff. But if you go later on the link that is in this presentation, you can download a spreadsheet for yourself. And the spreadsheet, I think, is more complicated. It's much more keywords there. You will see that the search volume and following the search volume only doesn't make that much sense. TI diff is nothing but you know, like an aggregated aggregated metric. So the spreadsheet is here. The website is called Zelezny UK. It's my son on /snapshot, and you can then go there and download your spreadsheet and play with it on your computer. And then when we have this keywords we would like to start working on and URLs, what then? It's very simple. You just need to do a simple optimization, and there is nothing new than what you've been doing for years. Modify title tag, add strong tag, alt tag, image file name, additional paragraph, headers, internal links, and so on and so on. Whatever you want to, just optimize this. Typically online, typically on page. So in that matter, there is nothing new. And then when to use this method, when you start working in the organization. So when you have this pressure to prove, I'm joining the organization, I passed the interview, my boss really wants me to deliver good results, I will prove that I wasn't only that good on the interview, but I really know how to deliver quickly organic traffic. For a website with established history of ranking in SERPs, obviously, this methodology is not for new website because we need to have some data. Yeah? And then we quickly want to prove that SEO is work. And then a couple of conclusions. We deal with keywords that already rank, obviously. We're leveraging quality traffic, obviously, because if Google is thinking that this or that keyword is relevant to be on position 5, that's probably delivering a quality traffic. You're utilizing multiple URLs. Yeah. So if 1, 2, 5, 10 URLs or products will not go up, there is another 10 URL can go. So think about this that way. Yeah. And you're playing search engine game. You're using Google as your source of suggestion. Finally, you're delivering quick results. So that was tactic 1, snapshot. Now tactic 2 is a gap analysis, which my team often using. And gap analysis is something that you use your competitors to figure out where is a gap in a content, where is a missing content. So, for example, first of all, there is a tool which is called SEMrush. This time, another great tool, and we will use this tool just to show you a couple of examples. But first, how it works. So I took Independent and I took Telegraph, and I said, hey, show me where Telegraph and Independent ranking together in Google Core UK. And I can see that for first 100 results, there is sorted by search volume, some random keywords like Facebook, YouTube, Daily Mail, Argos, and so on and so on. So I can filter this and can say, once again, show me the Independent and Telegraph, but only keywords that are ranking in top 10, and only these keywords which contain the word Scotland. And that's a very good source of topics if I would like to write on my blog about Scotland, if I would have one, and so on and so on. So I can see that both websites ranking in top 10 for keywords which contain the word Scotland, for keywords like election results in Scotland, Scotland independence, patrons in Scotland, Australia versus Scotland. It's very, very good bunch of information what potentially I would like to write about. But now, switching to my area, to USwitch, what I could do, how I could use this method, I could take all my competitors and say hey, alright, show me what are the keywords that my competitors simultaneously rank in Google Core UK and USwitch is not. Okay? So I get a list And then I added a filter and I said like, show me only keywords that contain mortgage. Mortgage, so, you know, when you want to buy a house or a flat and so on. So I said, show me, once again, show me these keywords that my competitors together, the same time, ranking in Google OK and contain word mortgage, and Newswitch is not. And take a look at this list. Mortgage insurance, mortgage calc, mortgage calculator, or calculations, mortgage calcu, mortgage calculate, mortgage simulator, and this is the first moment when you're thinking like, hold on, lots of keywords around the mortgage calculator. That's probably mean that we should write the designer tool, which will be a mortgage calculator, and write the content around. And when you go here is a table where I'm excluding everything what is non-grammar correct. So mortgage calc or mortgage calcul, it's not a word. So mortgage calculation, mortgage calculate, mortgage calculator, and so on. And then I'm sending to my copywriters this little request which contain title tag, meta description, H1, H2, length, content type, and example article. For example, you know, what will be the URL. So example.com/mortgage-calculator. Yeah. So in example article, I preferably am showing articles taken from my competition. And the URL, which is tools/mortgage-calculator. Yeah. So simple URL, and that's it. And my copywriter starting to write, and writing, and sending back developers designing tool, and you know, we are filling the gap so we can fill this missing content because of this research. And then tactic 3. Tactic 3 is dealing with answer boxes. Dealing with answer boxes. What are answer boxes? Answer boxes are this featured snippet or position 0 results that appears when you type specific keywords. And here is a keyword which is called, which sounds like that. What is smart meter? It's not grammatically correct because it should be what is a smart meter, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It is good enough to fire an answer box. So take a look. When you type what is smart meter, you have a result above a normal organic result. And what does it mean? That Newswitch in that example is 2 times. First time in this box right below the privacy reminder from Google, yeah. And then second time, the third result in the normal organic results. And in the answer box, you're like, smart meter is a new kind of gas and electricity meter that can digitally send meter readings to your energy supplier. And where this text is taken from? This text is taken from our website. Another example, what is a dual fuel? Dual fuel simply means that you receive your gas and electricity from, and so on and so on and so on. And this is also taken from our website. Now, why? First of all, both keywords are questions. Yeah? So questions are more likely to fire this answer box. Second of all, there is no magic. There is no magic tag or markup that you can use to say, hey Google, I want to deal with this keyword on this page in answer box. You can do only reversed, so you can opt out from being in answer boxes. But who would ever like to do this? So Another thing to remember to be on answer boxes is to use a simple language. Okay, simple kind of a language that Google artificial intelligence can easily understand. And if you have difficulties to figure out what is the difference between English and simple English, think about this. When you go to Wikipedia, you open any popular article in English, there is very often a simple English also in the list of languages. That is this language I'm referring to. It's a language that pretty much everyone who is trying to learn English after 2-3 years can understand. What is also important when you're trying to build answer boxes? Headings, heading list, heading paragraphs, so all this H1, H2, H3, div elements, images should contain keyword in the alt tag. And obviously, like we said on the previous slide, everything like page title, meta description, page URL, and so on and so on and so on, that will also be very important. So now, when we know that there is no magic thing to be in answer box, that Google is deciding, or Google Artificial Intelligence is deciding who will be there, obviously, you can modify content around the keyword to try to answer the question better way that you will push down the competitor and your website will be there. And when you know this, when you're optimizing, obviously you want to know what keywords you should optimize for and what pages. And this section will show you how to find these keywords. So obviously you can start randomly typing things in the SERPs and looking for a lack. Yeah, in that example I type shortbread and there is a recipe for a shortbread and there is this photo taken from BBC and so on. Another one, Champions League groups, yeah, a table with Champions League groups taken straight from BBC Sport. Another example, UK water rates, that's actually Uswitch, and you can see again like there is information about UK water rates taken straight from the website. Now, there is a nice method, yeah, to find these keywords. The nice method means that you go into some tool which have this data, and that's it. And the tool that can help you is obviously again search metrics. So search metrics have this kind of box, and you can say, okay, I want to see all the answer boxes or featured snippets that BBC have. And you can go into search features, and if you take a closer look, you can see that okay, BBC is ranking according to SEMrush on 3.7 million keywords in Google UK. And then out of this 3.7 million, 0.48% it is that these are keywords which are firing a featured snippet. Fair enough. Fair enough. So a simple math, we know that 3,700,000 multiplied by 0.0048, that is 17,760 keywords that are firing these answer boxes. And you can take anyone, your competitors or whatever else, whoever else, and you will be able to very quickly check what keywords they are ranking on in answer box. And there is the other method, and the other method is a bit more intrusive, but I wanted to show you. So it's pretty much like you doing a scrape. So these examples will be related to food. So finding the keywords that trigger answer box. I just choose 4 keywords that I was thinking that they will trigger answer box, but I didn't know. And obviously, if I would have 4, I can go to Google and type them and see, okay, there is answer box, okay, fine, copy paste to spreadsheet. But when I have 4,000, I cannot do this. So First, I converted these keywords into URLs that will trigger a wide relevant search engine result page. So I added this HTTPS google.co.uk/search !Q equal, and then there is a keyword. And then I copied this and pasted into a software called URL Profiler. URL Profiler has a built-in scraper, and I could start scraping process. First of all, I had to define what I'm going to scrape, and there is this. I'm using a CSS selector that you can take using Chrome, or you can find using Firefox if you prefer. This CSS selector defined what is the URL in the answer box. In other words, when I start scraping, there are only two ways, two type of data. I may get empty box, that means that answer box was not fired, or I can get a URL to the website that is ranking in answer box. Moreover, if I would be very if I would really need, I can also scrape this line above link. So in that case, how to make perfect pancakes recipe on Cooking Food Network. And I can also scrape this part of the text which is above, which is this little description. So I'm starting the process of scraping, and this is what I'm getting after. You have the original URLs, yeah, how to bake a cake, how to bake a pancake, and you have a data that been scraped from SERPs in the next. And if you don't believe, take a look. WikiHow, bake a cake, and you have how to bake a cake, and you have this answer box there. Another, how to bake a pancake, and you have Food Network, and this is exactly what you can see in my spreadsheet. Another one is how to bake potato, and you can see BBC Food recipe. There is in my spreadsheet also BBC. Yeah. And finally, my best example is like how to bake a sweet potato, and we have a website called NC Sweet Potatoes. I'm joking that this is probably a website full and only about sweet potatoes. So you can see that verification, when you type this manually and you go to the SERPs, you can see that exists in the SERP, but also exists in the spreadsheet. And then summary, that you're using answer boxes when you're doing with established website. Again, this is not a tactic for new website. When you're doing with industry leaders, so when you want to deliver additional boost of traffic for the keywords that you know already are first. And the conclusion is that you know, you're refreshing content. That means that even if you fail, even if you won't be able to be in the answer box, nothing happened. You was working hard and you are still optimizing refreshing content, so that's great. Answering customer question they may ask. So you're working with answer boxes, and you, like I show you the two questions that belong to usage. What is a smart meter? What is dual fuel? People are asking us about this question. We are answering. Finally, playing with search engine again. That's another important question, important bullet point. You are using Google as a suggestion. And then, you know, obviously the result speaks for itself. It's very easy. This is one screenshot, another screenshot of a vertical I was working for. And then finally, you know, socialmedia.pl, it's my like little private website that I am sometimes writing, or some people are writing for. And you can see the impact is tremendous. So that was me, Lukasz Zelezny, and you know, you can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Twitter too. LinkedIn probably will be the best, and that was pretty much it. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you very much for your time. And if we have some time for questions, then I'm more than happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zelezny.